Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome to this monthly meetup. Today, we are live from the Chamber of Commerce, and I thank all of you who contributed to making this event possible, especially to our friends from alumni, Bocconi alumni, who join us during this live session. And I'm really glad actually to be with you. And for the first session, we will actually have our friend Mike Sebban, who is a CEO of Shelby and the founder of CheckQ, which is an app which is really useful because it helps you in this time of COVID to skip the line. So, hello, Harald. I give the floor now to Namir, who will be hosting this fireside chat for about a couple of minutes. So enjoy it.
And everything was a software company. He was a continental Europe director with several branches. Then he decided a few years ago he wanted a new life, no more jackets and tie. So you see a big change with him, and he on and have him interview. So thank you for being here. Would you like to introduce in your and what you do, especially with your team on COVID? It could be just an overview and the flavor for the people watching us at home.
Sure. So thank you, Mayor, for having me today. Thank you for JCI. So what we do actually is we're a tech company. We build marketplaces, and our motto on a daily basis is really to let people go digital. So we work closely with local people, and we're trying to help them through digital to face different challenges.
Okay, that's useful. Give us a little bit about your how was to launch a new app, CheckQ, during the COVID period. How you get the idea, how it went out, and a little bit also after how the market received it. How did you get the idea, especially at the beginning?
Yeah, it's a long story. So actually, it was in February when the lockdown started, and we had lots of challenges as lots of companies, especially when you are a startup. So at the time, we were a team of 7 people, plus kind of 20 different freelancers working on sales outsourcing service, working on marketing with local people and so on. And all of a sudden, due to the lockdown, the activity went really down. So we really observed on our side clearly that we went from 20 clients down to 7 clients. So we were working with my co-founder like crazy, hours every day, 7 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, even during the weekend, till the point that the Ministry of Economy decided to launch a call for startup to help the economy. And this is the reason in April, on the 15th of April, when they launched this initiative to say, how can we reinvent ourselves? So we started talking with a lot of people in the startup ecosystem, and a few of them told us, you are a guy in tech, you know software, you know local, you know commerce, you know the city. So with all these elements in mind, we were trying to identify where are the pain points. And the major one that we identified back at the time was the restaurant sector. So hotel, restaurants, and bars. And they were the first one in the market that were heavily impacted. So we wanted to focus on that area and with a mission behind it. And our mission was, how can we help them getting more clients when the time of the lockdown we stopped? So that was really what we wanted to do. And then we started observing how people were behaving in this environment. And what we realized in restaurants is that the social distancing was literally reducing the seating capacity in a restaurant. So we started talking with lots of restaurant owners, and all of them told us, how can we survive in an environment where before the lockdown, we had 50 tables available, and now due to social distancing, we have to go down to 50% less. So kind of 25 tables. And kind of all of them were telling us exactly the same. So we have to reduce the seating capacity. But we want to keep our employees. So we want to keep the activity. We want to get the same turnover. And then it was obvious to us that the only possible option is to optimize the number of clients within the same seating capacity. So therefore, we arrived with the idea of how to accelerate and optimize the seating turnover within the restaurant. So that was really the point when we initiated the idea. And when we did this observation, we looked at the market and the competition, and we saw lots of different applications and also solutions that were around booking system. So tons of booking system exist. So restaurant, they have booking system in advance. You can book your restaurant. You have lots of possibilities as well with promotion, marketing, and so on. So we asked ourselves how to optimize the seating capacity within the shift. So when a restaurant is opening, it's 12, and from 12 to 2, they have to optimize the maximum of people within the restaurant. So the booking system brings them a certain number of clients, but it still remains some tables that are available. So we said, obvious, let's put a system where they can tell the system how many seats or table they have available when they start the shift. And so from the user perspective, we bring a marketplace where you can check in real time for tables available around you. So we wanted to capture all these walking customers that are tourists or people working or people in the neighborhood. So you have a lot of people, but you never know where to go and whether they have tables available. That's how the idea came up. And so we pushed this idea through a PowerPoint. We pitched at the start of 2019. We were quite lucky about the first steps, selected to pitch, and afterwards we were finally awarded at 15 startups just to promote this idea of market. So from day one, was in mid of May. The first thing is we talked with the team, we changed different part of each other, we bring additional people, and we wanted to go fast because we knew that the phase of summertime was quite slow because people will go out for holidays, and when they're going to come back in September, this is where we had to launch the product. So we delivered the first version of July. We ran a test for 2 months with 3 restaurant units on board, kind of 100 users, and then we saw that some choosing work, some processing didn't work, so we had to change, untidy some concepts, change some visuals and some algorithms and so on and so forth. And starting from September, we were almost ready, so we started going down to restaurants, explaining them the pitch, and when we went through this process of convincing restaurants, I remember the very first one, and I have to thank him for that. It was the restaurant L'Opéra, which is in the city center, and it took us kind of 30 minutes to explain the idea. And when we moved forward, we arrived at 5 minutes pitch, it was done. So we had a clear idea, we knew how to articulate the idea, we knew to explain the idea, and people understood that our mission is really to bring clients back to the restaurant. And just by that, we knew we had something. And we were keeping going. So we launched the application the 5th of October with the first 25 restaurants. After 15 days, we had 34 restaurants as of today. We're going to be at 45 at the end of the week. And we're starting communicating directly to users so that people can start understanding the identification in the market. And we all have to help this restaurant moving forward and passing the difficult time. Because actually, we all know that the local ecosystem, we need this local ecosystem. We don't want to see restaurants closing one after the other. So, and the people that are in the city will remain in the city. So you still have the city growing, you still have the restaurant. So you need to find a way. And in our little, in our level, what we want is not.
Absolutely. Especially because we cannot have real terraces when we have -20. Open parenthesis, the application is already available on the Apple Store.
Absolutely.
So I mean, all people who are looking at us, feel free to download also now. So some question may arrive to you, so you can chat with us directly via Facebook. Question: You went in front of for the selection for this competition. How did you feel the Minister of Economy and the startups and the ecosystem and Lux Innovation? Did they help you? Did they bring some solution? Did you feel an ecosystem moving towards you to help you to succeed? What is your feedback?
It's very positive. So actually, as we were awarded, we would have a subsidy to finance this idea. So I wouldn't say that it's the major part is to get the money, because otherwise, without having money, you're gonna have to finance the team and bring the idea out to market. That's very important. The second point is that just by saying that we are supported by this innovation and the Ministry of Economy, it gives a credibility to the market that we have been selected. So in a way, when we talk to restaurant owners and we telling them we are Shobi, and Shobi has been awarded by the Ministry and this innovation, they listen to us. And then that's our job to communicate through all this idea and the concept. So that's a really great help. At the same time, we started with Shobi 3 years ago. we were totally out from the startup ecosystem. So after 3 years, we know lots of channels, how to talk to people. So we're also part of an incubator. So they are helping us, supporting us on a daily basis. So, you know, the startup ecosystem in Luxembourg is hard, it's very big to enter. But after a few times, you start understanding all the different people, all the different organizations, how it works, who to call when you need help, and so on and so forth. So super helpful.
How many languages you have your app?
So as of today, that's a good question. We decided to launch the application in French and English. English for the majority of the people, French because the majority of the team is French. And also because we started targeting Luxembourg City. And Luxembourg City, you know, predominantly is French. So at the same time, we're gonna move forward adding additional languages as we go forward. At the moment, there is not a real need. Why? Because the application is so simple. So it's a matter of few clicks. So at the moment, just publishing a name, saying, okay, I want to go eat here, confirm. It's a kind of sufficient at this stage.
Okay, that's answer partially to my next question about the market of distribution, because you know Luxembourg is tiny. If you want to grow up, and when you're digital, you can go very fast. And you're an entrepreneur who has a big European experience. How many chances we have to see your app available in Belgium, in France, in Germany, where they're already speaking about lockdown and applying it actually?
Yeah, we don't grow internationally. That's our intention, definitely. But I believe that a startup, it's important when you start executing your strategy. And at the moment, we're focusing on Luxembourg, and we want to get this market. This market is not large, it's small, but we want to do things well. So not disappoint people, please people, make sure that it works fine. And then when the snowball effect will start in Luxembourg, we go outside. So we know that with such application, we have to go fast as well. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you go fast, you don't have to go too fast. So we 7 in the team. So we have to go with our capacity, but no facing problems because you have an ambition that is not at the level of your capacity of execution.
Okay. One point about COVID-19.
Yep.
You are a man of big resources. Let's say you're like Mary Poppins. So from your bed, you can always find a solution. That's because I know you since a while. What's the COVID-19 as a crisis gave it to you as a big lesson?
Yeah, that's a very good question. The thing is, the first thing that we learned is that the future is a lot of uncertainty. So you don't know what's going to happen. And you always have to reinvent yourself. So you cannot consider that the thing that you have is forever. So at a certain point when the COVID-19, you come back to reality saying, I'm just a human. And I'm not deciding what nature will give me. So when something new is happening, you just have to have this flexibility of listening, understanding, challenging yourself, and always be in this mindset of, you know, you can do whatever you want. That is part of whether it's going to be luck or unlucky, but that's the portion that you can't pass. And so you have to be, in a way, just relax, not very stressful, and when a new problem is happening, just take it and move on. The key thing is more to get this vision of where you want to go. So, and then it's just a matter of the way of going to this point will never be that straight. Will be like this. That's a long way. But when something is happening, just put yourself, just sit, think, re-challenge, change the assumption. But that's something quite usual for startups to be agile and to change with different assumptions. That's what you do on a daily basis. So test, fail, succeed, and move on. That's I think what's COVID-19 will give me. Another point I think which is changing, I think a lot in this market is this is really the first time in life that you see that COVID-19 is a lockdown for people, but it's also stopping people to travel. So it's a kind of controlling your freedom. And that's something that is very, very new because it's new where you live, but it's also new because people in the world, you cannot go and meet your family if they are living 5,000 kilometers away from where you live. However, I would say, yeah, I wouldn't say we're using exactly this word, but it helps digital to be promoted because now people are realizing digitalization is a must. So it was a nice to have for a long time, now it's a must. So that changed the mindset of a lot of people that technology is really helping people, not the other way around. So I think this in that time we have lots of regulators, states that want to control lots of social networks and so on and so forth. But that's a new element that now we have to take into consideration that technology is here and digital will be taking more space than ever before without retouching, this limit of technology dominating people. It has to be the other way around.
It's a very good topic. What you're saying, we have the mantra of digitalization. Okay,
Yeah.
everyone is putting in a mouth digital solution and everything. It means everything and nothing. Quite interesting. So the question is, you developed your software. Okay, how Luxembourg is digitalized for you? How support you have from a technical point of view? Do you have enough expertise here? Do you have enough IT support, or you need to look abroad?
I think it's now you have to look abroad anyway. Just you can't live with your own country believing that everything's here. You always find resources everywhere, and thanks to technology as well and digitalization, remote work is now something like normal to people. So whereas you see lots of people working from home, thinking home can be everywhere. As long as you have a computer, then it's not a problem of like restaurant you have to go and eat. So it's not the same when you work with developers. You don't have developers internally, and you don't have the resources externally. The thing that is to me very important is that you have functions that you can't outsource. It has to be within your company. Otherwise, you're losing control and you're losing quality of your results. So I will give two examples. We decided to have a designer internally, and the head of developer is intern, is also working with us. Why? Because always touching design has to reflect how the market works, how people behave. So that's how, and you need to live in this country to understand, to feel this country. Someone living in Japan doesn't have really this sensitivity just to get how you want to go out with that. So it's kind of impossible. And from the dev perspective, if you have your head of development defining that in the architecture, the next step, the milestone, the sprint, and so on, and doing the development from a holistic perspective within Luxembourg, that helps a lot. Because the concentration of brains gives much more ideas than having this kind of, more everywhere. However, when you move on to the execution and you can define tasks and you can define how to follow and so on, then it's very helpful. As a startup as well, what we can say is that the resources on the dev side are very expensive. And
Everything is expensive in Luxembourg, from cactus to the apartment. So
yeah,
it's coming as a consequence.
that's true. The only thing that is free is the air, but otherwise,
Not yet. If
Not
you don't
yet.
wear a mask,
yeah.
you get a fine, so it's more expensive now. They tax the air now. You see, unbelievable.
That's the point. So coming back to this point of developers in general, you have the competition coming from banks, from the Big Four, and this huge corporation where you don't really pay them. They're going to give 3 times more what you can offer to someone. The only thing they can't offer is the way you work. So this freedom, the way of being working with innovation, selling vision long term, and even myself, I work in finance for a long time, and even if it was fintech, I saw the company moving from this startup mode onto this more corporate mode when it's very strict and you can control and do what people ask you to do. You don't have this vision which is like very broad and across all boards. That's something that startup can offer. So yeah, I think that's we need to work with our benefit compared to others, but still on the dev side, the gap is too big to face the competition with devs. So that's why you need to look outside.
Okay. Excellent remark. This is something I've heard also abroad. So everyone is looking abroad, and everyone looking at abroad seem the goal. So we need to put food for thought. You said something about something very interesting because it's a really good time. The credibility of the awards. So you said compared to your beginning that you have a couple of years ago with Shoei, now because you went out from this competition, you get like a stempel, okay?
Yeah.
So you are like approved. So you go in front of the clients and everything is good. When you speak with the clients, but also with other startups, do you think that all this competition there is around that you have for a startup are really an add value for everyone, for every startup to have a stamp and go out for the market?
I think it definitely helps a lot. So you see that there were a few days ago, a few weeks ago, the Fit for Start. So when they wanted a lot of startups as well. So not only it gives the possibility to understand what startup means, because startups, when you don't know what it is, you have to live it. You arrive with your assumption, the startup is going to popular, and move to business very quick. It's not only that, so you need to understand this ecosystem. And so we have lots of consultants for that is helping through their planning programs. But at the same time, this sample gives you the push that you need to go to market. It gives you the push at two levels. The first one is obvious that specifically in Luxembourg, when you talk to someone that has a restaurant and they understand they are suffering because of the COVID-19, they want to hear that the state is doing something for them. And when you present yourself as being part of this initiative, then listening to you is, okay, there is another one coming, so they are here to help me, so which is great. So that's the first thing. But the second thing that is also very important, and the startup has coordinated give us that, but Fit for Start as well, gives you money. Because the reality, the bottom line is always simple. You don't have the bright idea in the world, you need two hands to develop the system. So, and you have 24 hours during the day to develop, to do things. So money is key. You don't need a huge amount of money, but you need at least this kicker that push you from level 0 to level 1. That's what is required.
In front of the service provider,
Yeah.
how they will receive you, how you are perceived as a startup? You know, it's always a big incognita. Do I invest in them? Do you give time and resources? You know, it's always a big challenge. You have margin of negotiation. So what is your feeling when you look for services?
I think it's, now you have so many service providers, so the competition is there. So it's and they're here to have more clients. So every single company in the world they're looking for clients. So especially
now.
Especially now. So you can work out solutions very easily and very helpful. So we didn't really face any issues with service providers so far. And also you have a lot of them that are local as well. So which can be a good idea to leverage that. And you can do another step, because thinking about service providers, I think to me it's the old world. The old world is you look at the company you're working with as a service provider, whereas today you have to look at them as a partner. So how to bring their technology through your technology so that you can leverage, how you can get more clients through this partnership. So that's the angle that I think that lots of companies they have to take more than believing that you serving me. We help each other going in one direction. So if you use the sandal, you can have, first of all, you can have good deals because it's also an element for the negotiation. And at the same time, you think in a very different way. So it's you're trying to project yourself in the long term instead of finding a solution for the very short term. So that's, I think, the way that at least we look at this type of collaboration, I would say.
Okay, very good point. I don't want to take the monotony of the questions. Aurélien, do we have questions from the web? Someone writing to us?
There's one question from Alexander. My favorite restaurants are not in the app. What's your strategy for adding more restaurants?
Give us the name of the restaurant. Don't tell me McDonald's.
That's such a good point. So obviously, if we know the name of the restaurant, let them know that we exist, first of all, so that they don't come to us, and we're going to be more than happy to bring them on board. And otherwise, the strategy to get more restaurants is we literally visiting them one by one. So we don't have at the moment a strategy to go fully digital. We believe that local require a physical presence. So we want them to know that we exist. So we based in Luxembourg. The city is not huge. So I have myself an electric scooter. So it's kind of 5 minutes distance to go pretty much everywhere.
Very sustainable. Good point.
Exactly. So we join and visiting them one by one. It doesn't take a long time. So to explain it's 5 minutes so that they know we have a face, we are real, we are local, we exist. And then going forward, we know that they're going to help us as well promoting the application. So that's how we're doing to get the acquisition at the very precise moment. Thanks for the question, Alexander.
Don't hesitate to write a post on the Facebook so we know the name of the restaurant, okay? So so Mike can take note. So, tu as une question ou non?
Maybe and for the global communication, how do you do?
Okay.
To make the people like me informed about your application.
Yeah, that's a very challenging point. The thing is, the way we're doing it at the moment is within lots of communications through social networking. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, we have two accounts for that. So we're sharing lots of activity that our restaurant base, our restaurant partners are doing. So every single day you have a publication on one dish that is more publicized by our users. So we do promotions through that. We have some ads that are running in Facebook, and you might be receiving this ads certainly in the coming days if you start being interested by a restaurant. That's one initiative. Of course, we're doing communication through different channels. So one of it is here today, just to communicate a little bit about CheckQ. And on top of it, every single day, we have 2 people within the team that are going to a restaurant. They go with a roll-up and they start distributing flyers so that they let people know that within this restaurant is part of CheckQ, so that next time they're going to come, they don't need to queue, they don't need to wait, they can stay in the office, stay at home, check online. In real time, they can have available tables around them. So that's how we do the advertising at the moment. So physical on one side and social on the other.
Is there a sticker on the door that's saying that they are using CheckQ?
Yes, absolutely. We don't make it mandatory. We pushing for that. But what we observe is that they're all doing it. The moment they see out of the first 20 restaurants that we onboarded, 15 of them, they put the flyer on the front door without us to ask. The remaining 5, they said, yeah, I'm going to do that in the next few days. So you don't want to push because they are the clients, but at the end of the day, when the first user came into the restaurant, they start thinking, oh, I have to put it, otherwise the other one will not come. So, and that's how they're doing it. It remains one or two that sometimes they don't have time or they don't remember. And so the initiatives are having our people going there and doing the distribution of flyer, to pushing them to put the flyer on top of it. So some of them we got very good feedback because for once in a while, you saw lots of applications like TripAdvisor and blah, blah, blah. And when you start telling them, we local, oh, you're local, let's put it because we're proud of it. So and we like that.
We have a question from the public.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, how important would you say the marketing, the physical marketing is, because you are wearing the CheckQ hat and the CheckQ sweater, and for an online application, most of the time we think of online advertisement, but apparently it's not only the case.
Indeed, the thing is, let's be totally frank with you. The thing is, if we want to have a full digital strategy using social media, the competition on the social medias, you have to face the big guys. They have 10 times or 15 times or 1,000 times your budget in marketing. So if we want to have a sort of visibility through it, it's going to be very hard. So we still have to invest a little bit on that, but it doesn't have to be the major part. It's very negligible how much we invest on this market. So that's not really what we want to do. The physical marketing, I think, is key for us, because this is also part of our objective. We want to bring digital back to local. So how can you get your target customer being informed about what you do? So who are your clients at the end of the day? Your clients are the one that goes into a restaurant. So where do you want to find them? When it's lunchtime or dinner time and they are at the restaurant. So we have to be there when they are there. And the reality, it's a sort of a circular economy in a year. So if today you're going to restaurant A, or you want to go in this restaurant, tomorrow you're going to go out in another one. So the same clients are clients of all the restaurants within the town, right? So that's what we want to do. So that's why also within the application, we didn't decide to take sort of certain restaurant, type of restaurant, or some others. We want to give them a large range so that if tomorrow you want to eat in a first-star restaurant, you're going to find one, for instance. So the chef Manier from the restaurant Clairefontaine accepted to use the application. So you can find a seat at the restaurant Clairefontaine today, and tomorrow, if you want to eat just cereals in the city center, you go to Sierra Lobos, and you can still go there, or to La Dépôt, or to other restaurant. I don't want to say one name instead of another, but that's a large range. The thing that we force them to do is that we want them to give us one picture of what you can eat, not the branding, so that they have a sort of, they're all equal. So ultimately what you want to see is what do you want to eat? So what would I have in my plate? So that's what we all want. So that's what we push them to do. And they accepted the challenge, so we're quite happy about that.
Good. Are there any other questions from live? Or we'll go with the last questions and then a recap. No, seems no other question from live.
No, there are also questions.
There are questions?
They have Sarah commenting that she got the apps and she loves it. She loves it, and
Fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Sarah, for this comment. So super happy. So if you like the application, don't hesitate to go on Instagram as well and put us some like, or you can send us some messages. We're always keen to have conversation with users, because what is critical to us is really the feedback from the users. So what you love is great, and sometimes you can tell us you can improve the user experience by doing this and this and this, and that the feedback we're super interested to listen. So it's going to be a real pleasure if we can have a communication, a conversation, and get your feedback and your experience.
Okay. The last question. it's a very challenging time, and we know that the world has changed now, especially on the job. And now everything going for digital, and everything is part of the life. Some jobs will disappear, probably much faster than we think. With your experience, with what you faced, what would you suggest us to start to studying? Which are the future, just to avoid to find ourselves, or already 50 years old, totally out of the market? What would be your recommendation? Yeah.
It's
Not easy, eh? Not
it's not an
easy.
easy question.
But once you start to lose the hair, you want to avoid to some surprises come to your face, and when it's too
when you
late.
have some white hair coming here, that's the same that's happening. What can I say? Let's be very honest. I'm not a professor, or I don't have any magic balls where I can read things for the future. The two things I would say is first of all is we have to be always positive in our attitude. So if you think positive, and I know it sounds like words, but on a daily basis it means something. And when you have this enthusiasm, and then you kind of capture opportunities. Opportunities are coming to us instead of just passing by. So when you get a train now, everything is going very fast. So when the train is passing, don't miss it. So jump on the train. In terms of working opportunities, definitely I think it's obvious. You find lots of opportunities in digital. Lots of opportunities for people that think forward. And one thing I can say is, we know at the moment that the pandemic that is happening, unfortunately, is here to stay, and we have to live with it. So it's naming today COVID-19, but we can hear about lots of things like it's going to be a new one, a new sort of virus coming in, and so on and so forth. So because of it, all our behavior are going to change. So imagine yourself in 10 years' time with this period being stabilized and being part of our normal life, or our kids growing up with this without knowing something else. How will you change your mindset? How will you see the world? What will you expect from the world to deliver to you? And maybe that's the direction where you want to go. So the climate is also very important. So you have lots of things going from this eco buzzword that you see everywhere. So I think lots of opportunities will go this way. So you have the space that is moving forward very fast. So all this sort of new economy are really changing. So which is really good. The last point I think that is very, very good in this, which is, I guess, a good point of what is happening for the economy, is that back in that time, just before the crisis, you can observe that all the economy around the world, like US, like Asia, like Europe, they were kind of at a different level. So US more moving forward with technology, Europe more the historical country, Asia more like strict and protecting what they have. Now it's like US, Europe, same level, China, same level. All the different states, they want to protect themselves and work together. So it's a sort of resetting the world, and everyone starting on the same line at the moment. So with you do tons of things for years, you're still starting at zero. So that's something we have to remember ourselves. We're still starting, and so opportunities will happen. That's what I think. And in terms of job opportunities, I think it's better to have the question politician, not politician.
Oh, good luck. Okay, quite interesting. If we don't have other points for Jan, I'll resume briefly.
Yeah, is your app GDPR compliant?
Yes, of course, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot be GDPR compliant. You cannot go out on market without being GDPR compliant. I think it's, if I'm saying no, then I'm gonna have trouble, right?
Especially in a country dominated by compliance officers.
Indeed.
So, okay, quite
Is it
interesting.
available on iOS, Android?
Yeah. So if you're on the Apple Store, you can find the application. Google Store, you can find the application. So yeah, you don't say that the application is everywhere pretty much. That's what we've.
Question from Sahar. What is the first user's experience? What did they say about the app?
The very first one, we had during the test phase. I wouldn't say it was a great experience because some of them they went to the restaurant and the restaurant owner was not aware and so on and so forth. So thanks to these testers, we changed the strategy. We communicate better with some few things to help the user experience. But I would say it's very positive. Why? Because we don't have a lot of users today. Let's be honest. We have lots of downloads, but not a lot of users. And the users that are using the application today, they are reusing the application. So at least the good sign that we can see that these users, they love the experience and they're continuously redoing the experience, so which is great. So thanks for the question.
Is the app used in the other cities?
Not yet.
Neither in Esch-sur-Alzette or neither Belval.
We don't start Belval beginning of November. So that's we have
In 10 days, huh?
Yeah, it's in a few days. It's because of the word of mouth of two restaurant owners that were talking to their friends, and some of them told us, okay, can we do Belval as well? We said, okay, yes, let's do it.
Okay, really good point.
But Bertrand is also available. That's true. So it's you can find restaurant in Luxembourg City, then Bertrand and Strassen. So these three areas, they're already covered.
Okay.
Do you have competitors? Or something that could be considered as competitors?
Yeah, of course, we have competition. We have direct and indirect competition. So competition is always tough. So booking application, in some ways, they're doing same principles. Don't really cover what we do in a way that we do in real time. They do in advance. Some of them are doing also the large range, but just for one restaurant, we marketplace. So we have differentiators. We have competitions with tons of things, but I wouldn't name all of them.
How many of them are made in Luxembourg?
With the only one as far who were at least for the time being. So we're proud of that. Yeah.
You have to. Aurélien is good. I go with the so just for every one of you. So thank you for everyone who was watching us from home. Thank you for the restricted COVID public. Thank you for the Bocconi alumni, as usual, for the partnership and for watching us, and to the President Claudio and to the board member Guido community. Thank you for the JCI people. Just the takeaways that I would like to take. Thank you, Mike, for the support. So be positive because the opportunities are coming. Accept the uncertainty because COVID will remain. The world is changing, so accept it. Everything, the world is starting from zero, so everything that is work, especially digital, think forward. Thank you, Mike. Aurélien, last word for closing.
Okay, so this closes our monthly meetup today. Before I say you goodbye, I would like to thank Mike for being with us tonight, and also the host, Namir, who has led the interview really good. Thank you, Namir.
Thank you, Aurélien.
Okay, so the last thing to do is to save in your agenda the next upcoming great event, which will happen on the 25th of November. So on the 25th of November, we will have the gala of the Creative Young Entrepreneur Luxembourg Awards. So this is the time to put on the spotlight how creative Luxembourg is, and the gala will be held on the 25th of November. So this time, put it on your agenda, but this time it will be a kind of online, and we will be with us in the room again, and who knows? And it will be better than last year when we have it online. So thank you all for watching us, and thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.